Hi, everyone. Welcome to your practice for today. I'm really happy you're here with me. I want to thank you all so much for your support and remind you that I would love to keep these practices donation based. So if you would like to donate to keep these classes going, I would very much appreciate it. And you can see all the information in the notes for the video. That being said, it is 4 in the morning. I am having trouble sleeping. There's a lot of stress and anxiety going on right now with me, maybe with you as well. And today we are going to do a practice that gets into the hips, hopefully releasing some tension, hopefully releasing some of those emotions that we hold in our physical bodies, and as well as our emotional and mental bodies. So let's get started. You can take a prop to sit up on top of if you'd like. Getting yourself settled in, you can let your eyes close. Just taking a few breaths to allow yourself to find stillness. Feeling the sits bones releasing down into the prop that you're sitting up on top of, or the earth underneath you. All of the muscles of the hips and the bum releasing and softening. Letting your hands connect at your heart. Breathing in for Om. Om. Your hands can soften down to your knees. If you're sitting up on something, you might move that support out of the way, letting your hips come down to the floor, and your eyes can stay closed. We'll just start to take some circles with the body, sending the chest forward, the ribs around to the side, to the back, to the other side. Just finding this kind of stirring or churning motion in the body. And you can start to take those circles in the other direction. Feeling the base of the pelvis kind of circling around. And you can bring it back through center, finding a long spine, gently letting the eyes float open. And then stretching the legs out long in front of you. You can give everything a little shake out here. Bending the left knee. Draw that knee in and open it out. Sole of the foot connecting to the right inner thigh. Arms sweep high with a big breath in. And with a breath out, it's a twist to the right. Right fingers to the mat behind you. Left hand finds the outside of the thigh. Pressing down through those back fingertips, see if the spine can lengthen. And then you can actually use that left hand on the thigh, drawing yourself a little bit deeper into that twist. Releasing the twist, left hand to the earth behind you, stargazer. Hips get really light, stretching through the right side of the body. Exhaling, hips to the mat. And then take this right leg and swing it around behind you. The left shin can draw parallel to the top of the mat. See if the right hip can get a little bit heavier, releasing it down toward the earth. Fingertips to the mat, lengthening the spine. Big breath in. And as you exhale, taking your hands out in front of you, melting the palms and the elbows and the forehead toward the earth. Maybe you start to feel a little bit of opening in the outside of that left hip, upper thigh. With a breath in, walking your hands back, drawing yourself back up to sit. Releasing the legs out in front of you. We'll move into the other side, bringing the your right leg in, sole of the foot connecting into the inner thigh, sweeping the arms high with an inhale, and then twisting to your left hand to the mat, right hand to that thigh. Feel the sits bones grounding down as the spine lifts and extends, and then spinning from the belly, the heart, and the eyes back over that left shoulder. Releasing the twist for a stargazer. Right hand to the mat, left arm sweeps that big inhale. And hips to the earth. Taking this left leg behind you, bringing the right shin forward, almost like a pigeon shape with that shin there. Letting this left hip get heavy, fingertips to the earth, spine lengthening, big breath in. And then drawing yourself out over that right leg, releasing into a fold. Hands drawing back, rolling up through the spine. Taking the feet to the earth in front of you, hands down behind you. Big breath in, lengthening the spine. As you breathe out, float the hips high, letting them get really light. Big inhale here. Exhaling, hips releasing to the mat. Crawling yourself out onto hands and knees. Setting up your palms right under your shoulders. With a breath in, head and tail sweep toward the sky. Cow pose. Exhale, belly draws up, chin to the chest, cat pose. Breath in, let the belly soften, let the heart float open. Exhale, tail sliding under. One more time like this, rising through the front of the body and opening through the back of the body. Bringing it back to a neutral spine, head forward, tail back. Tucking your toes for your first downward facing dog, hips rising. And as your hips float, you can maybe take a little figure 8 with those hips. Just starting to get a little bit of fluidity, a little bit of movement here. Big breath in and finding some stillness in downward facing dog. Breathing in, breathing out. Like a big wave, it's a plank pose, rolling yourself out long. Child's pose, as you breathe out, hips relax back to the heels. Sliding out onto your belly for a baby cobra, planting the palms, heart floats. Downward facing dog, exhaling. Now keep the hips really square with a breath in, sending the right leg to the sky. Take a moment, make sure those toes are pointing down toward the earth behind you. And then with an exhale, you can open that hip, pointing the knee up toward the sky, seeing if you can stack your right hip on top of your left hip. Lengthening the legs, squaring the hips, breath in, draw the knee into the nose and gently step the foot forward between the hands. Left hand down, right arm sweeps to the sky for a low lunge twist. Heavy hips, feeling the heart getting really light. With a breath out, hand to the mat. Walk your hands to the left, spinning your toes to the long side of the mat. With an inhale, pressing the fingertips down either into the floor or onto a prop, lengthening the spine. And with a breath out, letting the hands release toward the earth and the head release off of the neck. Pressing into the fingertips, lengthening the spine. Big breath in. Spinning the heels in, toes out. Exhale, that left leg can start to bend maybe a little bit or maybe a little bit more, letting that left heel come up. Flexing the right toes, looking past your right foot. Crawling yourself forward to a low lunge, bending that right knee. Inhaling, heart is open. Downward facing dog, sending it back. Plank pose, rolling out long, big breath in. Then you can lower the knees to the mat or you can keep the legs straight, your choice. Bend your elbows, your upper body lowers in one piece to the earth. Palms plant, heart sweeps open, baby cobra. Floating back through all fours, down dog, exhaling. Again, keeping those hips really square, sending the left leg high, toes pointing down toward the earth behind you. Big inhale. Exhale, you can start to open that hip. Seeing if you can stack the left hip on top of the right hip, left armpit spiraling down to the earth. Lengthening the left leg, square the hips, breath in, drawing the knee in toward the nose, and there's a soft step forward between the hands. Right hand down, left arm sweeps high for a twist. Exhaling, left hand to the mat, walking the hands to your right, spinning yourself to face the side of your mat, long flat back, breath in, right away, heels in, toes out, right knee starts to bend, maybe a little bit more, left toes flexing toward the sky, looking toward that left foot. And crawling it back to the top of the mat, left knee bends, long flat back, breathing in. This time the right foot steps forward to meet the left foot. Find some space between your feet. Find some softness in the upper body. And again, maybe there's a few figure eights here with the hips. Just getting really juicy here. Knees can soften a little bit more and start to round your way up. Unraveling the spine. Pressing into your 2 feet, reaching the arms high for a prayer. Inhaling. Hands draw to your heart. And finding your Tadasana, stepping your feet together, arms release by the sides. Arms sweep high for a prayer, breathing in. Folding forward over those legs, breathing out. Right foot steps back for a lunge. Big breath in, and it's downward facing dog as you exhale. Plank pose, rolling out long. Now it's straight or bent legs, your choice, lower to your belly. Pointing the toes, rising up. Cobra, breath in. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right leg reaches high, breath in. Foot forward between the hands, on a breath out, right arm to the sky, opening the heart. Right hand down, left foot forward, let yourself release. Arms rise for a prayer, breathing in. Hands to your heart, breathing out. Send it up, Urdhva Hastasana. Folding over those legs, exhaling. Left foot back, heart floats forward. Down dog. Exhale. Plank on your breath in. Again, straight or bent legs. Elbows hug the ribs as you lower. Point the toes, lift the heart, breath in. Down dog. on your breath out. Left leg high, inhale. Footsteps between the hands, exhaling. Lift the left arm, find that twist. Left hand down, right foot forward, let the head release. Arms rise for a high prayer. Hands to the heart, breathing out. Send it back up, inhale. Melting forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Right foot back, heart reaching forward. Downward facing dog, exhaling. Plank on your breath in. If you want to add a chaturanga, feel free. Rising up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Right leg floats, breath in. Footsteps softly forward, breath out. Right arm high, gazing towards your fingertips. Hand down, left foot forward, let the head release. Arms high, breath in. Hands to a prayer, breath out. Reaching it high, inhale. Bowing forward, exhale. Left foot travels back, inhaling. Downward facing dog, exhaling. Rolling out to your plank, breath in. Chaturanga or to the mat, breath out. Lifting the heart, inhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana, exhale. Left leg high, breathing in. Foot softly between the hands with an inhale, the left arm reaches. Hand down, right foot forward, release the head and the neck. Arms rise, breath in. Drawing it to the heart, breath out. Send it high, inhale. Folding forward, exhale. Right foot back to your lunge. This time, step directly into plank pose, lowering to chaturanga or to the mat. Pressing into the palms, lifting the heart. Downward facing dog. Exhaling. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Softening the knees, look forward, step or hop your way to your hands. Long, flat back. Melting over the legs. Arms rise for a prayer and then draw that prayer right through your heart, folding over the legs. Left foot steps back, breathing in. Direct to plank pose, exhaling toward the mat. Rising, breath in. Downward facing dog. Breath out. Right away, knees soften, eyes reach forward, step or float to your hands, long spine. Bowing down. Arms rise, breathing in. Hands to your heart, breathing out. Utkatasana, sitting your way back into your chair pose. Hips are getting really heavy. Sitting bones, tailbone reaching back. Folding forward over your legs, exhaling. Long, flat back, breath in. Bend your knees, plant your palms. You can make your way back through a vinyasa. Maybe you step or maybe you hop your way through it. With a breath in, the right leg reaches high. Footsteps forward and right away, it's Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Left heel down, arms opening wide. Letting those hips get really heavy. We're shifting into a rainbow warrior. Your back leg, your left leg can bend. Reaching the hips toward the back of your mat, flexing the right toes and letting the arms swing backwards. Warrior 2, flipping the palms, peaceful, right arm high, opening the right ribs. Hands circle down to the floor, stepping it back to a plank, exhaling to lower. Breath in to rise, down dog, exhaling. Left leg floats, breath in. Stepping that foot forward for your warrior 2, letting the arms cartwheel open. Shifting back to that rainbow warrior, the right leg bends, left toes flex, Let the arms swing back behind you. And then shifting back into your warrior two. Peaceful, left arm tips high, inhaling. Circling the hands down, stepping through your plank, taking it through your flow. Breathing in, breathing out. Adding on, right leg rises with an inhale. Stepping forward for your warrior two. Open the arms wide. Rainbow warrior, left knee bends. Draw the weight back. Directly into peaceful, right knee bends, right arm high. Cartwheel the hands down around your right foot. Now walk your hands to your left, turning your toes in, Prasarita Padottanasana. Pressing into the feet, rise all the way up to stand, high prayer. Warrior two, right toes turn out, bending the right knee. Peaceful, right arm high, breath in. Side angle, right elbow to the thigh. Or if you want to take it deeper right away, you can bring your fingertips down to the floor or down to a block. With a breath out, the left arm circles down past the face. Send the arm up to the sky, lengthening the right leg, shifting into your triangle pose. Grounding into those feet, arms and spine extending. Left hand to left hip. Right knee softens. Walk the fingertips out in front of you. Halfmoon pose. Left leg floats. Left fingers reach toward the sky. Heart spiraling up toward the left hand. And with a breath out, it's a forward fold, left hand down. Step the feet together, shake yourself out a little bit. Rising up to a high prayer, breath in. Hands connected to your heart, breath out. Moving to tree pose, right leg lifts, I'll face you. And then opening up, sole of the right foot connecting into the left inner thigh. Palms connecting at the heart. Feel the tailbone descending, pubic bone gently drawing up towards your navel. You can stay here or you can float the arms to the sky. Steady focus, steady breath. Hands can connect back at your heart if they lift it. Left hand to left hip. Right hand draws that right knee up towards your armpit, either holding onto the knee and finding your balance here, or taking a peace sign, wrapping it around the big toe. If you can keep your spine long and your breath free, maybe that right leg extends off to the right side. And whether your leg is straight or bent, you might take a look over your left shoulder, playing with your balance. Eyes forward, right leg can start to soften. Paralleling the legs, stepping your way into your Tadasana. Breathing out. Sweeping the arms high, inhale. Diving forward, exhaling. Long, flat back, open the heart. Bend the knees, plant the palms. Your journey back through a vinyasa. Left leg high, inhaling. Stepping forward for your warrior two. Right heel grounds, arms spiral open. Rainbow, right knee bends. Sweep the arms back. Shifting into peaceful. Weight to the left foot, left arm high. Hands circle down to a low lunge. Walk your hands to your right. Spin to face the long side of your mat. Pressing into the feet, rising up, high prayer. Top of the mat, warrior two, left knee bends. Peaceful, left arm high, left ribs opening. Extended side angle, either elbow to the knee or fingertips to the earth. Feeling the right pinky toe grounding down, finding that connection. With your next breath out, right arm circles down past the face. Lengthening the left leg, right arm floats high, Uttita Trikonasana. Right hand to right hip. Left knee softens as the left fingertips find the earth in front of you. Lengthening the right leg back, right fingers to the sky for your Halfmoon Pose. You can always take your left hand onto a prop and just bringing the floor a little bit closer to you. It's a forward fold as you breathe out, letting yourself release over those legs. Arms reach high, breath in. Hands to your heart, breath out. Moving to tree pose on the second side, this time the left leg lifts. Rotating out, sole of the foot connecting into the inner thigh. Hands finding a prayer at your heart. Feeling the sole of that right foot grounding into the earth and maybe letting the arms float. If your arms extended, the hands can connect back at your heart. Right hand to right hip, left hand draws that knee up and in towards your armpit. Again, staying here or catching your yogi toe lock around your big toe. Maybe sending the left leg off to the left side. And then whether your leg is straight or bent, you can always take a look over your right shoulder. And if you looked over that shoulder, you can bring your eyes back forward, softening the left knee, paralleling the leg, stepping into your Tadasana. Step your feet apart this time, so the feet come about as wide as your mat. Heels turn in, toes turn out, arms rise, big breath in. As you breathe out, letting the hips melt toward the heels for a little squat here. If your heels come up off the mat, it's totally fine. We want to find as much weight as possible through the hips and a nice big opening through the chest. With your next breath out, right fingers find the earth in front of you. Left arm sweeping to the sky, looking up toward those left fingertips. Left knee continues to widen. Left pinky toe grounding down. Hands connect back at your heart. Exhaling. Big breath in. Breath out, left hand to the earth. Right arm to the sky. Heart rising. Hips getting heavy. Hands meet back at the heart. Exhaling. Long breath in here, lifting and lengthening through the spine. And then hands to the earth, you can stretch the legs, heel toe the feet back in toward each other. Long flat back, breathing in. Bend your knees, plant your palms. It's your journey back to down dog. Maybe there's a vinyasa. Maybe it's just a gentle step back into your Adho Mukha. Once you arrive in down dog, there's a few deep breaths. Knees soften with an inhale. Looking forward, step or float to your hands. Exhaling, long flat back. Melting over the legs. Arms rise, high prayer. Breath in. Chair pose, sink the hips back. Float the heart open. Keep the knees bent. Right leg lifts toward the chest. Garudasana, Eagle pose, right thigh over the left thigh, hooking the toes behind the calf if you have space. Right elbow wraps under the left elbow, drawing everything in, and then bending the knees a lot, sending the hips back in space. See if the right hip can draw back a little bit more. Pressing into the sole of the left foot, rising up to stand. Draw that right knee in and up. Spine is long. Left hand can either find the knee, or you can reach down, finding the pinky toe. Wherever you are, send the right arm behind you, looking back toward the right fingertips. And if you have the toe, the leg might start to stretch forward. So your right arm and your right foot are reaching in two opposite directions. If your leg is extended, start to bend the knee. Both hands to your right knee, drawing it in. Warrior 3 pose. Right leg floats back. Heart reaches forward. Your arms can wing back or they can reach out long in front of you. Your choice. Breath in. Left knee starts to soften. Right toes touch down to the earth behind you. Arms high for a high lunge. Exhaling, hands come down, framing the left foot. Walk your hands to your right. Turn through your wide straddle all the way to the back of your mat. Right knee bending, lowering the back knee, releasing the toes, both arms sweeping high for a low crescent lunge. Feeling the front of this left hip opening. With a breath out, hands connect at the heart, and it's a twist to the right. Left elbow hooking over the right thigh, pressing the palms together, spiraling the heart up into that prayer shape. You can stay here, or you might play with tucking the back toes and extending the back leg. Breath out, hands come down to frame the right foot. Exhale the left foot forward. Give yourself a soft forward fold. Make sure there's a little bit of space between your 2 feet. Both knees can bend a lot. Left fingers to the earth behind you, to the earth in front of you. Right arm sweeps to the sky. Right leg lengthens. And you can even stick that right hip out a little bit, kind of sinking into the outside of that right hip. Big breath in here. Exhale, right hand coming behind the back for a soft half bind. Both knees bend. Look down at your left fingers. Float the left fingers to the sky, rising up to stand. Taking the left hand behind the head, you might be able to catch the fingertips behind the back. But if that's not the case, you can grab a strap or a scarf or a belt, whatever you have nearby, and you can hold it in your left hand, reaching down and catching wherever you can reach with your right hand for Gomukhasana arms. Left elbow gets really light. And as you exhale, it's a lean over to your right side. So the left side body is getting even longer. Big breath in. Keep leaning to the right, softening the knees, and take it forward into a forward fold, keeping those Gomukhasana arms. Left elbow is getting really heavy as the head softens toward the knees. You can release the hands, releasing whatever prop you might have nearby. Finding a long, flat back. Breathing in. Bend your knees. Plant your palms, your vinyasa. Just a few deep breaths in your Adho Mukha, your downward facing dog. Soft knees, looking forward. Make your way to your hands with a breath out, long spine. Inhale, melting forward. Exhale. Arms rise, breath in. Chair pose, sit yourself back, breathing out. Knees stay soft, left leg lifts towards your heart. Eagle pose, left thigh over, left elbow under. Wrapping everything together, and then get really bendy through the knees, heavy through the hips. Seeing if both sides of the waist can be equally long. Pressing into the left foot, drawing yourself up to stand. Pressing into the right foot, drawing yourself up to stand. Long spine. Right hand either finds the knee or right fingers reach down and catch the left pinky toe. Left arm stretches back behind you. And you can either stay where you are or you can send the left leg forward into the right hand. Parita Hasta Padangustasana. Left knee starts to soften. Both hands find that knee. Long spine. Warrior three pose. Float the foot back. Reach the heart forward. Spin that left hip down, feeling a sense of evenness through the back of the pelvis. Right knee softens. Left toes touch down softly. Arms rising for your high lunge. Exhaling, hands come down to frame the right foot. Walk the hands to the left, turning through your prasarita all the way back to the front of the mat. Left knee bends. Right knee finds the earth. Toes point, arms rise for your low crescent lunge. Hands connecting at your heart. And it's a twist to your left. Right elbow over the left thigh. Heart rising up into the thumbs. Again, either staying here or playing with tucking your back toes and reaching your back leg long. Hands come down, framing the left foot. Softly, the right foot steps forward, giving yourself a soft forward fold. Big exhale. Again, finding some space between the feet. Let the knees bend a lot. Right fingers to the floor or a block in front of you. Left arm peels open as the left leg lengthens. Heart rising up toward those top fingers. Left arm can tuck behind you for a soft half bind. Bending both knees, look towards your right fingertips. Sweep that arm high. And then bending the elbow, catching the hands behind your back or catching your strap between your hands. Left elbow getting heavy, right elbow getting light. And as you exhale, it's a big lean over to your left side. Right foot is grounded, right ribs opening, big breath in. Keep leaning to the left, soften the knees. Let it turn into a forward fold. keeping your variation of your Gomukhasana arms. Exhaling, hands release. You can move any props out of the way. Long spine, long breath. Inhale. Bend your knees, plant your palms. Maybe there's one last vinyasa. Arriving with your exhale in downward facing dog. Breathing in deeply. As you breathe out, it's child's pose. Hips resting back to the heels. Taking this time to physically soften through the body, to lengthen the breath, and to calm the mind. With an inhale, rising back up onto hands and knees. And it's a downward facing dog, letting the hips float high. With a breath in, right leg floats. Moving toward pigeon pose, drawing that right shin forward. As much as possible, paralleling the shin to the top of the mat. And getting really heavy through the hips here. If you need to take some support under the right hip, you can take a blanket or a couch cushion, take that under the hip for a little bit of extra release there. Fingertips grounding down, spine lengthening. As you exhale, melting your way into a forward fold. Letting the head release. So if your hips are pretty tight, if you're holding any tension in the hips, this can be a pretty intense shape, sometimes a pretty uncomfortable shape. But trying to sit and be with that discomfort. If every time we face discomfort, physically or mentally or emotionally, we want to run away from it, doesn't give us an opportunity to move through it. So taking this time, sitting with it, experiencing it, and just breathing, and just being. With an inhale, drawing yourself back up to a long spine. Tucking the left toes under. It's your last downward facing dog. Take it slow as you step that right foot back to meet the left. And again, maybe there's a few little figure eights through the hips here. Moving to the second side, left leg floats, breathing in, and drawing that left shin forward for your pigeon on the second side. Patting under the left hip if you need. Grounding through the fingertips, spine lengthening. And then taking your time to melt out over that left leg. And getting heavy through the upper body. Noticing any emotional reactions, Let's start to come up as we get into those hips. Maybe frustration, maybe sadness, anxiety. Whatever comes up, again, just sitting with it. Using the breath to focus the mind. Drawing yourself back up to a long spine. Tucking your back toes under. Take some weight onto the hands and shift that left leg so the knee comes directly in front of you. Drawing the right knee forward. Tucking the right knee behind the left knee. Hugging those inner thighs together like we did in eagle pose. Walking the feet apart. And sending the hips down and back between the heels. Now your hips might easily come down to the floor. It might be pretty open and juicy at this point. If not, feel free to take something underneath your hips for a little bit of extra support. Arms float on a breath in. Right hand behind the head. Left arm around the low back. And again, maybe your fingers connect between your shoulder blades. But if that's not for you today, you can always take something between the hands, a strap, a scarf. Meeting yourself where you are. If you have something between your hands, you can move it out of the way. Now stay with me, a little funky transition. Walk your hands to your right. Lift your hips. Keep walking your hands to the right. Spinning yourself all the way around. Keep the feet where they are as you spin, spin, spin. And then letting the knees melt down in front of you. And you're all set up for your Gomukhasana on the second side, like magic. Arms rise, breathing in. This time, left hand behind the head, right arm around, holding wherever you can hold with the hands. So all of us are asymmetrical. Noticing those differences from side to side and allowing for those differences. Allowing yourself to modify, to use props. On your next exhale, the arms can release. Give them a shake out here. You can unravel those legs. If you're sitting up on a prop, you can move it out of the way. Send the legs out in front of you. You can wiggle the legs. You can shake them out a little bit. And sitting up high on the pelvis, if that means that you need to take a prop under your sitting bones, maybe fold up a blanket or take a cushion under your hips, give yourself a little extra space here. Flexing the feet, arms rise, big breath in. Big breath out to dive forward over the legs. Paschimottanasana. Rolling yourself all the way up to sit. Now, if you have two blocks around, you can grab those blocks. If you don't have blocks, grab something that's block-like. So maybe you can stack up some books. Maybe I saw someone using paper towel rolls as a replacement for blocks. So grab whatever you can find, two things that are about the same height. And just bring those two block-like objects to the top of your mat. We'll use them in just a moment, but first bringing yourself all the way forward, knees peeling open, soles of the feet connecting, long spine, breathing in. Send this open heart forward, reaching long through the spine. And with a breath out, you can let yourself round into Baddha Konasana. Rolling yourself all the way up to sit. Taking the hands to the mat behind you, give your hips just a little scooch forward towards your heels, and you can grab your two blocks or props, whatever you have, rolling yourself down onto your back, setting those props underneath your knees. You might need to play a little bit, seeing what's the correct height, where can I feel like my legs are really supported here. So if you feel any pulling or stretching in the inner thighs, you can take something else, build up those prop towers, making sure that you feel really soft and supported here. Taking one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart, and letting your eyes close. You're welcome to stay in this reclined goddess pose for as long as you'd like. If at any point you'd like to move into Shavasana, you can use the hands to draw the knees together and stretching the legs out long on the mat. And wherever you decide to take your final relaxation today, just taking your time, letting yourself really rest for a few minutes. And thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.